Hail, Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt! The Dork Lords. We're here today talking about Star Wars Ahsoka. Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. Master and Apprentice. And Toil and Trouble. That's right, little Shakespeare.
I just realized, because there are witches in it.
Correct. Correct.
Look at that. That. You're not going to get that just anywhere. That kind of,
that analysis.
That's right.
We open with a Star Wars crawl in red letters. Basically, Ahsoka is hunting for a map leading to Luke. Wrong storyline. Thrawn. Though the Empire has been defeated, the remnants are looking for Thrawn to return to lead a war against the New Republic. We know that, the First Order eventually comes around, so this is not destined to go well. We then meet two of our villains, a Master and Apprentice, title reference. Balin and Shin. They board the ship carrying Thrawn devotee Morgan Elsbeth, who we saw get captured by Ahsoka back in The Mandalorian, and they free her. We end Episode 2 with an almost shot-for-shot live-action remake of the last scene from the Rebels series finale. Some people are calling this Rebels Season 5, and probably for good reason. Sabine has decided to join Ahsoka in the search for Ezra and Thrawn, and Ahsoka calls her Padawan. We then see the bad guys meeting to discuss their next steps. They've almost completed the Eye of Sion. Not the Eye of Sauron, although that would be awesome too. A device which will deliver Thrawn from his exile in the far galaxy. Morgan is worried about Ahsoka's interference. It's a reasonable concern.
Sure.
So she orders Balin and company to kill her. Paul?
Yes?
What'd you think of Episodes 1 and 2?
I thought it was just fine.
All right.
I guess I give it like a 6.5, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
Or maybe a 7. I had to remind myself several times that this is David Filoni. And so, there's a certain way that those stories that he does goes. And so, he wrote and directed this one, or at least the first one anyway. And
Yep.
So, it's going to feel like him, and it did. It did feel like him.
Right, for better or worse.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think a 7 is probably a reasonable score. There are things to like about this show.
Yes.
Loved seeing Clancy Brown doing the live-action version of the character he voiced in Rebels, which is cool.
Yeah.
He'll always be the Kurgan to me, but, awesome. Love seeing him getting work, baby. Also cool to have David Tennant voice the droid Huyang, which he did in the Clone Wars as well. He was the voice there.
Okay.
And major kudos to Ray Stevenson. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
To me, easily the standout performance of these first 2 episodes. I mean, he's huge. They make him even bigger, but he's like this human wall walking around. It's so imposing.
I think perhaps some of these actors are shorter,
Okay, fair enough. They're like, whoop. But I think they gave him like shoulder pauldrons or something. And they put a cloak over the top, and it's like, whoop. But he's this former Jedi turned Force user for hire, basically. But he still maintains some of that calm assurance of a Jedi, and he seemingly hasn't completely abandoned those teachings. I mean, he's obviously willing to do dirty work, but there's a little bit of him that still harkens back to the days when apparently he was like a youngling in the temple or something. It's funny, this series continues with this running notion, and I think we saw this in Andor as well, so it's not just a Filoni thing. It's this notion that the New Republic is just too dumb for its own good. Like, exemplified by a couple of things. One, ship captain in the very beginning. That's maybe the best, my favorite shot of the whole 2 episodes was probably that opening bit. It harkens back to a lot of old Star Wars, and even harkens back to a little bit of the prequels. But, it's like this ship captain, he gets this message, these 2 Jedi want to come aboard. And he to his credit, he's like, well, they're not. Come on.
Yeah,
these guys are lying. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So what would you do in that case? They're lying about being Jedi. Why would you let them on Guy, I mean, there's so many ways that could go wrong. I get it. In his mind, he's like, these are just two goofs. Why would you think that? They obviously have a plan. I mean, like, it's not just two teenagers who, I'm going to see what I can get away with. No, there's probably they would like to be on the ship. So don't let them. Maybe they're evil force wielders, which they are. Maybe their ship is rigged with explosives and they take your ship out. Maybe it's packed with HK droids. The point is, why take the chance? And the guy just is like, he's the New Republic. He's too stupid to survive. Like, let me just literally stand in front of you and confront you and just wait for you to make a move. Oh, you killed me. Look at that. I didn't see that coming. Like, God, come on, man. So there's that, and then there's also the bigger picture. That's kind of like the microcosm of the New Republic. Macrocosm is more of the ship scrapyard.
Yes.
Run by ex-Imperials. Apparently inspection
and
free.
Doctor on House.
Oh, right. Yes. The Doctor on House decided,
Peter
you know what,
Jacobson.
Better career. I'm going to go. And, it's like they're free to do as they will. Like, they were space Nazis. But you know what? The war's over. I'm sure they'll let bygones be bygones. Give them complete access to all of these ship parts that they can send wherever they want. New Republic! Anyway, it's almost like, they got what they deserved. I don't know. Like, come on, man. They were the good guys. It's okay. They're just asleep at the wheel.
I think I would separate the sort of bureaucracy that we saw in Andor from this.
Okay.
In that is supposed to be taking place before the fall of the Empire.
Great point.
So it's actually the rise of the Empire.
Yeah. Good point.
So it was more sort of like, okay, well, we're slowly taking over. So the bits of incompetence that we saw, was just sort of like, we're just not being fascistic enough.
Yeah. Leading up to the original trilogy, as opposed to this, which the incompetence is leading up to the sequel trilogy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Which, of course, is not as good.
Which, of course, is not as good. So a lot of people are singing this show's praises, and there is a lot to like about the show, as we mentioned. I mean, the music, I think, is really interesting.
Oh, yeah. The music is
there's sets almost like it's Japanese inspired, and there's almost like a samurai feel to some of those fight scenes, which I thought was kind of cool. The sets are very awesome. There's lightsabers. They got lightsaber fights in both episodes, Paul.
Yeah, and this, I would, I think, I was thinking about the times when, in the prequels, in the first movie, when, Qui-Gon were fighting those robots, and how pathetic that looked. And these actually look like they can put up a fight, these robots.
Yeah, plus the fact that they're self-destruct. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I mean,
that could have been the opening move.
Right, exactly. Hey, droid, I want you to take out Ahsoka Tano. How? Well, fight her. Or just get within 10 miles of her and blow up.
Yeah,
okay, let's do that.
One of them could have hugged her, and the other one could have blown up.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's three of them. So, all three of them could have jumped on her at the same time.
Right. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
No, because I was thinking as they were doing the self-destruct, I was like, well, come on, that's dumb. She's got plenty of time to run away. Why is it taking so long to click off?
Yeah.
But then when it was like, I take it back.
Yeah.
The blast radius, insane.
Yeah, clearly there was like serious fissionable material in them.
Yep.
And, all the time
wow.
she's slicing them in half, they could have blown up.
I mean, I'd be cranking out those things left and right if I'm, one of the bad guys, and just be like, just have them walk into wherever I want to destroy.
Just
and
have them
blow
be
themselves
bombs, basically.
Yeah,
smart,
exactly.
Real smart bombs.
Smart mobile bombs.
Yep.
So there's lightsabers, there's exploding droids, spaceships looked great, the space scenes looked awesome. There is this lore which is carried over from Filoni from Rebels, and we see a lot of the characters from there. For me, there's just one particularly glaring negative, and it's not the writing per se. I mean, it's not brilliant, but with the exception of Andor, most of Star Wars writing isn't brilliant. It's the way the dialogue is acted.
Interesting.
I mean, as long as the show isn't talking, it's pretty damn good. I enjoyed the Corellia space. We got to track the ship and all that stuff. That was cool. I enjoyed it. So yeah, when there's a sense of urgency to the scene, which adds this energy, you're like, oh, we got to get the tracker. That's cool. But the quiet conversations between the characters, I mean, ostensibly the character building scenes, they are almost criminally underpaced. Several times throughout the 2 episodes, I was staring at the screen thinking, spit it out! It's your turn! It's your turn to talk! Go! Took me completely out of those scenes. I think I was even texting you in real time, like, why is this so slow? It kind of reminded me, I'm not saying this is what's happening here, but it reminds me of when my comedy group is preparing for a show.
Interesting.
So we spend a few weeks on book. In other words, rehearsing the scenes with the lines in front of us.
Sure.
Then you get to a level of proficiency where inevitably it's the first day off book.
Yes.
Taking the lines away.
Sure.
And that rehearsal is always terrible.
Oh,
because people have memorized their lines, but they haven't memorized it in connection to other people's lines.
Sure.
And so you get these huge gaps between lines of dialogue, these involuntary pinter pause kind of things. And it just undercuts the energy, and in our case, the comedy of all those scenes. And I'm surely they rehearse these scenes. I'm not calling them out for that. So I'm not going to blame the acting. I'm gonna say this is on the directing. I got to think it's an intentional choice. But in a conversation, the difference of a few half seconds can turn a good scene into a bad scene. Now, just as I found an example. Actually, I found several examples, but I'm going to choose one example.
Okay.
It's a 4-line scene. Just 4 lines of dialogue. The dialogue is as such.
Yes.
She knows something, and the secret is held in that map. If Thrawn survived, does that mean Ezra? I hope so. Nothing is certain except our enemy's belief that they know where to look. Okay, let's take a look at this map. Okay, so that's, I mean, I get it. I'm a crappy actor. Ignore the acting. I'm just talking about conversation between 2 people that seems that they might have.
Yeah, I was going to say that wasn't very funny, man. You know,
it wasn't a...
Work on your delivery.
Wait, and then there was a banana. I don't know, okay.
Next.
So I did that in basically under 15 seconds, roughly. On the show, those 4 lines took almost 40 seconds. Now, 25 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. It's enough to just steal all of the momentum out of that scene. I mean, imagine packing an extra 25 seconds into those 4 lines. It's like, God, just go. Just say you're just talking about a map and you want to look at it. Got it. Say it. Say it. So that was me being annoyed. At times with this thing. Yeah. So less talking.
I've never performed with Matt, so I've never been on that day when he's like, just spit it out! Just spit it out!
Just
pick up the pace! Let's do a fast run through. Now!
This show has a pantomime. It's probably a 10. But you know what? There's lines of dialogue, so 7. There you go. Okay. There's a theory that Ezra, so obviously the big point of this whole season is going to be finding Ezra. We're going to find Thrawn, but find Ezra as well. And so there's a theory that we saw at the very end there. There was like, you've got, of course, Balin and Shin, Master and Apprentice, and then there's this third henchman, Merrick, who fights with Ahsoka and then survives and then has that cool scene where he pulls his lightsaber back to him and then Ahsoka does that little dodge, like, whoop.
Yes.
You're like, oh, that's cool. So there's a theory that Merrick is Ezra.
What?
Now, obviously, Ezra's supposed to be in some faraway galaxy.
Yes.
But I suppose those space whales, those Purgle, they like him. Could have carried him back home. I don't know. Merrick has the pronoun he. He does have the right body type. His face is masked. He's using an Inquisitor lightsaber, which the show pointed out, Sabine is using Ezra's former green lightsaber, so he wouldn't have one. He does fight toe-to-toe with Ahsoka. Additionally, he did consider, back in the Rebel show, he considered training under Maul at one point, showing he could be vulnerable to the dark side, perhaps. So on the surface, there's reason to think it might be Ezra.
Sure.
But this is like Filoni's Luke Skywalker. He already made the choice to reject the dark side. Now, I'm getting some Last Jedi vibes here, but I think it would be cheating the character. I'm going to stick on this. I think it would be cheating the character, much like Luke, off-screen, turned into a curmudgeon. I think it would be cheating the character if off-screen he just decided to reject everything he'd learned.
Interesting.
Over the 4 seasons of Rebels. So I'm not buying it.
I guess we'll see, yeah.
It would be a fun gotcha, but I think at the expense of the character.
Oh, okay.
I would also say, villain revealed to actually be lost hero does sound like poor man's Vader. So like, I remember that when you did it better in Empire. Oh, that was great. So I'm thinking Merrick is just a helmeted guy, and we don't know who it is. Hell, maybe it's Amos. Probably not. No, we talked about the fact that the character of Amos from The Expanse is supposedly somewhere in this season.
The things that I liked, I liked Rosario, and Sabine's okay. I mean, I'm going to get used to that character because I didn't have a
Right, so you didn't watch much of the Rebels show,
hardly any at all.
I saw like the last 2 seasons. Okay. I'm a little more well versed in some of these characters, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'll probably want some more about except that it's a little hard for me to believe that Sabine is a Mandalorian. It's like okay, she's not one of those ones who never takes her helmet off. Okay, so that's fine. Nope. She's not one of those. But the ones that we did see are always in armor. Basically, so it's almost like their armor is their helmet.
She doesn't come off as a militaristic, perhaps.
No, she really doesn't to me. Yeah. So it's interesting that she's the Mandalorian who is at least getting trained as a Jedi, even though she has no Force powers.
Something I should point out, which I don't know that they referenced specifically in the episodes, but when she's living in that communication tower, that's like her house or whatever. Or her apartment.
Yeah.
That's Ezra's former residence.
Ah, sure.
So she's actually living in the abode of Ezra, kind of pining for him essentially.
Okay, all right.
But I thought that was a little bit of like. In other words, I like the fact that she's living kind of in that past,
right?
And I think maybe at the end of this, she embraces the idea of like, okay, I'm done feeling sorry for myself. Let's go do this. Let's go find Ezra. Which, of course, is what the end of the Rebel show. But
Sure. Yeah, but so I wish they were a little more skillful at establishing. Oh, she's a rebel. She's somebody who doesn't want to stick around to get congratulations. She's going to run off when the ceremony's happening. Ooh, rebel. And it's like, her previous master is like, don't take this away, because you wouldn't want it to get stolen. And then she takes it away and it gets stolen. And I thought, like, okay, now we're going to get the scene where I told you so, but we didn't. She was just like, I could have predicted that she was a complete fuck up. So I know it'll be no point in trying to shove her nose in it. So
I have to say
that was good.
I think I got that from Rosario. I agree. I think we saw the disappointment on her face, and then she chose, you know what, I'm not going to do the "I told you so" moment. I agree. I thought that was a well done moment there.
By not doing anything,
By not doing anything. Don't less talking. Pantomime, Paul.
Sounds like.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's a charades. Sounds like I told you so. Okay, I get your point. Yeah. You want to know more about, and also why Ezra's so important to her. You don't really necessarily get that from this show.
Yeah, you
would have to have watched Rebels to be like, oh, that's why he's important, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like so, stuff like that.
I'm guessing it wasn't a romance. They were just good friends.
I never thought of it as a romance, right?
That's what you get a lot in Star Wars. Is all that It's like Rey and the stormtrooper. They weren't romantic. It's good buddies.
Now you did have a romantic relationship, which I think we're going to see something about between Syndulla, who's now General Syndulla, and what would be Ezra's master, essentially, Kanan Jarrus, who died in Rebels.
Ah.
They had a kid, in fact. And so we haven't seen, I was kind of expecting to see the kid.
Ah, okay.
So Syndulla has a son named Jason, who probably is Force sensitive, if I had to guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I would, unless something terrible happened to Jason, and like, oh, they're going to do that, like, I was happy and now I'm despondent over this off-screen thing that happened. I would imagine we're probably going to see Jason at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, so other characters, we still need to see Zeb, who is a very crucial member of the Rebels team, and he cameoed in Mando season 3. He showed up in one of those bar scenes. So he's around,
cool. All right,
and probably somewhere in here they're gonna fly by and pick up Zeb, if I had to guess. So we talked, Toil and Trouble, witches. Well noted there, Paul. So the witches are the Night Sisters of Dathomir, is what they're called, and in the lore, it sounds like Morgan Elsbeth is apparently either a Night Sister or at least has their powers. She calls herself a survivor, which maybe suggests that she learned their powers to stay alive or something. I don't know. But the one thing of note that I think of when I don't know a ton about the lore, but I do know that Darth Maul's mother was the leader of the Night Sisters.
Ah, okay.
So there's a connection there.
Sure.
And so now they're going to go, they're going to get Thrawn in this faraway galaxy, which is a big deal for at least the TV and movie properties to go to another galaxy. I think they've done that in some of the written works. But leaving the galaxy to another galaxy is kind
of a long time ago, and yet a different
galaxy far away from the other galaxy.
Yeah. I wonder if it's closer to our galaxy.
Right. Oh, think of that. Think of it as like, it's Earth. No, don't do it. No, they're going to show up in like modern day New York, and then like, it's Toronto. So we're going to get some version of Ezra, whether he's evil or not. Again, I don't think he's the evil guy with the mask.
Sure.
And we're going to get Hayden Christensen's Anakin at some point, which either like in a flashback, or I would guess maybe more like one of those holocron things or something.
Okay.
Again, I think the standout for me is Ray Stevenson, and I'm like, oh no, he's passed on.
Yes.
But his character I like quite a bit. Interested to see where that goes, and his relationship with his apprentice is an interesting one as well. So we'll see where that takes us.
All right. I got a question for you.
All right.
Did the droid humor work for you?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the one line that wasn't necessarily, maybe it was trying to be really funny, but I thought it was actually just more like engaging, is when I think it's Yang mentions to Sabine like, "Oh, I'm glad you're repaired," or something like that. He says it. He describes her being, no longer injured as being repaired. Which
right.
I thought, a droid would do that. I get that.
Sure,
that was kind of.
Sure.
But no, I wasn't like, "Whoa, droids, hilarious."
Because of course, when Syndulla was, flying and the droid was in the back there.
Oh yeah, that's a Rebels. That is a Rebels thing. Chopper. He does that all the time.
Yeah.
Get ready for him to do that a lot.
Flailing
around.
Thanks for the warning.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. That I could do without that. That's fine. But I actually, as I mentioned, I see you repaired. We do get the stab through and through. It's apparently fine.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I thought that was a kill shot. That's kind of like in a lot of Star Wars lore, you stab someone through and through, and that's a kill shot. You're like, you're gone.
Sure.
And here they're like, but no, it's fine. No. She literally like wakes up, I don't know, later that day, or ooh, it smarts. Anyway, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Literally, a beam of light was shoved through your internal organs. Anyway.
It's not like it's a sword. It's a beam of light.
Yeah, it cauterizes everything on the way in and
Go.
out.
Yeah, no germs or anything.
But if like I don't know where it passed through, but let's
worry
say
about sterilizing it.
If it went through your heart, you still got a giant hole in your heart. Oh, but it's clean, so it's fine. No, you're still dead. Anyway, it's it's Star Wars logic. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're the captain, if you're the dumb New Republic captain of the ship in the beginning scene, and you get stabbed through and through, you're dead.
Yes.
But if you're a main character and you get stabbed through and through, hold on. We still got a chance. So anyway, we'll be back talking about episode 3. It's just going to be one episode at a time from now on.
Sure.
I do like the fact that they've moved it up, Tuesday nights.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Prime time. Instead of this weird dropping it in the middle of the night. No one wants to be up watching. So I actually watched it when it dropped. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't do that usually when it's 3 in the morning. So, all right. Anyway, we'll be back talking about episode 3. Thank you as always, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it, good sir. And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.